I met Cynthia at Thrive Palooza. And while sometimes we have guests on here and I know a little bit of her story, I know absolutely nothing about her. I don't know her story. I don't know where she lives. I don't know anything about her. But when we met at Thrive she was just so inviting. We had like the quickest, shortest conversation, but we connected on Facebook after that. And so when I reached out to her, I asked her would she come on and just share her story and share a little bit about her journey with us. She was like, sure. So Cynthia, I'm going to hand it over to you and let you introduce yourself and tell us, how did you find Lavelle and the Thrive experience?
Well, it was through my daughter. So you probably hear like a little bit of the cars. Can you hear me okay? I'm at the track. So, I've got cars going by. I'm trying to get a quick walk in. But do y'all mind if I just say a quick prayer? Okay. Father God, thank you so much. Thank you for this opportunity. Thank you for the meeting of new friends. Thank you for just putting us in this place where we can be about your business. We know that it is through you that Thrive works. We know that the people you put in our path are in our path for a reason. Father, just allow the listeners to hear not my voice, not my words, but your words, the things that they need to take away. It's through you, through just me as a person. We love you so much, and we are so thankful for all that you have done for us, all that you are doing for us, and all that you have already put into motion that we have no idea about. Thank you so much. We lift you up, and it's in your son's name we pray. Amen. Okay, so when I started my Thrive experience, it was because, actually, let me tell you that my daughter and I had spoke. She is a teacher and a coach, just like I am, or I was. And it was, kind of at the beginning of Thrive, and I just heard all this negative stuff. And she was like, Mom, I think I want to do it. Now, keep in mind, back then she is 30 something. I can't remember. But I said, don't you dare do it. I said, don't you put that stuff in your body. It's no good. I've heard nothing but bad things about it. Don't do it. Well, she comes to me one night and she said, okay, well, guess what? You're doing this Thrive. And I was like, wait, what did I tell you about that? She goes, well, I've been doing it for 2 weeks. My friends have been doing it at school, and it's the end of the year. And like, we are just like going. And I was like, if you believe in it, I'll buy in. Because she never did eat them. I have 2 boys who love that kind of stuff. My daughter, no. But here's the thing is that I'd had somebody send me samples. My upline had sent me samples back in December 11th. I know the exact date. And here it was at the end of March when I finally bought my first package. Well, I bought my package without even having it in my system, but I had some samples. So I went and I found those samples. Well, this was during that time when in Texas, which is where I'm from, I'm originally from Breckenridge, where Chelsea is from. And it was ice everywhere. And I was track season, I was coaching. And one of my coaches looked at me and she said, Coach Cooper, you need to go sit down. It's like, honey, no, who? Yeah, I'm the Mama Coop. What are you talking about? And she said, no, I've never seen that look in your eyes. I thought I was disguising it. I was hurting. I wish I could tell you, but Lavelle prevents us from telling the whole thing. But I thought if I could just go to the car, if I could turn my heater up, I could stop my knees from hurting. Well, that didn't work. That night I went home and I did something so stupid. But, I laid in bed and I cried and I prayed and I was like, God, I need help. I can't do this. I can't do this. I need help. Well, I remembered those samples. I went and dug them out. Well, Saturday night, I'm at a friend's house and we're decorating and I'm like up and down ladders because we're doing a cross wall. And I looked outside and it's what I call night, which is real dark. And I was like, what time is it? And she said 11:30. And I said, there's no way it's 11:30. I go to bed at 8:30. I mean, I sneak, fake a phone call, but I get out. And she said, no, Cynthia, it really is. And I said, show me your phone. So she showed me her phone Well, that was my first reality that something was going on. It was 11:30 and I started moving around and I wasn't hurting. And that morning I left their house around 4 or 5. I called Mallory on the way and sorry, I mean, it's been over 8 years and still the same thing. But I called her and I was like, you're not going to believe this. And she said, what? And I was like, it's that Thrive stuff. It really works. And I said, well, I said, I didn't want to tell you what I've been doing to cope through to get by. And she said, how could you do that? And I said, because I'm the mother. I'm the one who takes care of y'all. Y'all are not going to take care of me. She said, we're all grown. I said, it doesn't matter. And she said, Mom, she said, I started this because I was trying to hit a bonus. That bonus doesn't mean anything. We have to do this because if you were doing those kind of things to get through, there's no way we can keep this to ourselves. And here we are over 8 years later and still sharing because of stuff like that. And then, you know, we hear, like, we get those same stories and more. And whenever you ever doubt that you're in the right place, you find those stories because it's the stories. It's not about the no's. It's not even about the yeses. It's about the stories. So that's how I got here. So, okay. So, sorry, did you have something?
Oh, no, go ahead. Were you going to say something?
Well, I was just going to talk about not giving up and about the highs and the lows.
Okay.
So it was the Tidwell's story. I met them outside. It was their story. And I'll tell you, when I heard that, when somebody gets on stage and they're saying, I was incarcerated, I've had stuff repossessed, I'm like, holy cow, what am I doing? Yes, I look for those stories, but there is like a legit business, and I need to stop blaming somebody else for my failures. And I just need to flat out and go and get this, because it's in this that God is going to work through me, and my rewards are going to be coming through this. Your story and your vulnerability, your rawness is something that everybody needs to hear. It's something that everybody needs to know, because it doesn't matter. I don't care about, oh, well, this person gets this, or this person is that, or this person has all these marketers underneath them. That's why they're there because of the heart and the soul that's behind the heart and the soul. So I didn't want to do detox because I didn't want to hurt. But I'm going to tell you, when I detox, and guys, if you have not gone through that, and I know I'm kind of jumping around, but I'm just looking at the time thinking, okay, I've got to get everything in. If you've not done detox, get it, because it's not just about cleaning your gut. My lands, it cleaned my mind. I mean, I found out so much about myself through detox that I never realized was there. And when I say that, I mean, like, that mental clarity and stuff that you got from Thrive, it is like on, I hate to say on speed. Is that okay? Sorry. On what should I say? I don't know what I should say.
Listen, our Sunday night Zooms are the real and the raw. So you just speak your mind, you speak from your heart, don't try to hold back, and you talk about your real journey, your real story.
Okay.
Because that's what our Impact Zooms are all about. So you say whatever it is you're feeling.
Okay. Well, I'm telling you, like, when I did that, everything made so much sense. Not only was I like hyper going through, making contacts, reaching out, I started like eating better. Now, I'm never going to be a vegan. I'm never going to go without my chicken, my pizza, my hamburgers. I like my food, but I have figured out that I like like baked fish. I thought rice, you could only eat rice if you had sugar and lots of butter. You can eat that junk with salt and pepper and it still tastes good. I mean, heck, who'd have thought? But that's one of the things I found out I can eat better and like what I was eating. So, that it just everything changed. Well, when everything changed, things changed with my body. I've always liked to walk. I've always liked to jog run, but I do more now. And let me show you, so I'm getting ready to go do some jog walk. I have found heat, ran my first whole mile in under 10 minutes. Yeah, y'all get that stuff too. So I'm just going to tell you. Okay, so I'm going to go through my notes real quick, okay?
And then I have questions.
Okay, all right. Do you want to ask the questions first? Okay, so be genuine. People know when you are fake. I am not y'all. Y'all are not me. I am not. I've had this. I keep this video for myself. So, Chelsea. So she's this blonde, and her videos, she's always has her little blonde hair and it's always to the side, and she's always like real cutesy. Well, I have a video for me where I have a white towel, and I just go through and I just have fun with it, and it just puts me in such a good mood. I don't make videos to post, but it's just my video that that lets me be me, but I can still capture her essence. Does that make sense? Okay, so I have that. And I keep those. She once told me, she challenged me one time. She said, I'm going to challenge you to a video, breaking a reel a day for 30 days. And I was like, hey, you got it. And so I met that challenge. Well, after that, I'd gotten so used to it. I was making reels, especially like days when I'm made up, or if I have, if I'm not looking like a mess, then I'll make a reel. But I just batch like 3 or 4 or 5 at a time, and it takes literally seconds to do. But I do those, and I make those reels. But I am me. I'm not somebody else.
I do have a question about that.
Okay.
I just want to stop you there and ask you. So, how did you feel when she first asked you to do those reels? Because I know sometimes we feel like, I know for a lot of people, reels are out of the comfort zone. And also, do you find that you gained anything business-wise by creating those reels and stepping out and doing those things?
Okay, so I will be 57 in December. So doing a reel, way out of my comfort zone, way. I had to, when I first started, I was like, it took me forever. Like it would take me an hour to make one, because I would stop and go, well, then I just realized, well, just keep the video going and just go and do it several times. And then you could edit what you need to, or, clip it. So I figured that. But when I started doing those in that 30 days, I have to be perfectly honest, I got nothing in that first 30 days. But I kept doing it because as a coach, this one head coach, I remember him telling our players, you'll never miss 100% of the time. If you miss in the first half, you have to keep shooting because your odds are higher. So if you missed 70%, that means your 30% is on its way, but you have to keep shooting. So I kept making those videos, and I was having people, I have no idea who they are. They were making accounts. They were ordering. I was like, what? And some, when I, because they put their phone numbers in there, their email, I would reach out. Some would respond back. Some would not respond back. And honestly, I have three auto ship customers. They have never responded, and they've ordered for about 4 or 5 months. So you just have to do it. It's uncomfortable, but just do it. And there's a lot of times that you could just put some music on and just sit there and pose. I'm just telling you, because the music will do it. And I've tried so many different ways, like hashtag and all that stuff. I'm telling you, you just have to keep shooting. It's going to happen, but it's not going to happen if you stop shooting. So does that answer that? Okay. All right. So when people identify with me, when you look on my Facebook, you know me as Faith, Family, and Thrive. Those are my 3 genuine things. People know that's what I'm about. Now, I'm an ex-coach. Well, actually, I'm a coach, I'm a teacher, I'm a grandmother, and I'm a motivator. So those are the things that go with me, that deal with me. So when I'm posting, people know me as those things. Again, I am me. I'm not trying to be somebody else. I have to be me. So my posts reflect that. When I share a story, those are the stories that I go and look for. The stories are about a coach, stories about a teacher, stories about people who motivate. Those are my friends. The people on my Facebook, they are, faith-based. They are former teachers. They're former coaches. They are people with families, people in the baseball world, because I have a grandson who's big in baseball and football. So know who your audience is, but don't forget to sprinkle some other stuff in there. So I try my best to connect and to always build relationships. I do want to say one thing real quick is to make sure that you are commenting on people's posts. Don't just go through and like or love. Actually intentionally go and like and comment, because then you're showing up in their feed, they're showing up in yours. And then whenever they post something, you will actually know how to connect with them. So prime example, I have this one guy who posted his daughter was asleep on the floor. And she said, "Daddy, I'm tired." That's what he posted. She just said, "Daddy, I'm tired." And he said, "Same, baby girl, same." I was like, okay. So I reached out to him and I was like, "Hey, whenever you're ready for some extra energy, let me know, hit me up, and let's get you, I can get you something." And he replied back, "Well, I'm sorry, I don't even know what you do. What is it that you do?" Now, I've known this guy I used to coach. He didn't play, but he was at the school where I taught. So a good 12 years, been on my Facebook. And so I told him, I said, "It's Thrive." And so I sent him a sample pack from my cloud office. And he is now, he's hit his VIP 400. His one of his level ones has already hit VIP 400. They're already at 1,800 in volume, and it's been not even a week until since they've become promoters.
So I have a question. How did you go about, okay, so you reached out to him about being tired, but what was your conversation like with him to get him to promote? And not only that, only reason I ask is because, this market, this industry is for everyone, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I do feel like sometimes we have older promoters that come in that are in their 40s, like me, 50s, 60s, and they don't know where to start, because they feel like this business is for younger people and younger generations. So they don't want to do the reels and they don't want to reach out to people. So did you have an issue or a problem with that in the beginning? In the beginning, did you feel like maybe this wasn't the industry for you because you were under a Chelsea or, something like that? Did you ever have that time where you felt like this is not for me, I can't be successful in this? And then if you did, how did you transition to who and what you do today?
Okay, I'm going to say that it connects back to knowing and building that relationship. So when I first started, I did not hit my VIP 800. I didn't hit 1600. I didn't hit 4K. I didn't get any of that. And back then we just had our messenger groups. And I was like, y'all, I'm gonna have to leave the group for a while. I said, everybody's shouting out, they're getting all these badges, and I'm not getting anything. I just can't do it. I'm not gonna quit. I just don't want to be in the group anymore. And my daughter comes back, because everybody was like, no, Cynthia, you're okay. Coach Cooper, come on, you're doing good. You just have to wait. And my daughter comes on there and she said, no, ma'am. I refuse to take that. You've always taught us that if you don't like something, you change it. You have the power to change what you're doing. If you're not getting where you want to get, then you change what you're doing to get there. And I was like, yes, ma'am. She knew what I needed to hear. I'm not a coddler. I don't need to be coddlered. But the minute that you tell me, look, go do this. And when she told me to go do that, we were 12K the next month. Never hit one of those bonuses. But by gosh, I hit that 12K. And as soon as I got close to it, they're like, we're going to get you there. You're almost there. I said, if you place one person underneath me, I will be so mad. Don't place not one person. I will get there on my own. And they said, yes, okay. And I did. But that was the thing. I doubted myself. And even though I was doing what they were telling me to do, like it just wasn't happening to me, for me. And I think it was just because I had that in the back of my head that all of the people who I knew were already above me. Because I had moved from Breckenridge. I'd only been in this town for 1 year. And all of the coaches, all the players and stuff that I taught were all already up there. So I had to go and find new people. And that's the thing, is that I just had to just get out of my own way. So that's how, and I'll tell people who, we have a little group of us who are mamas, grandmothers, and we meet and we try to see each other about every month, to keep each other motivated, to kind of tell each other, what we're experiencing, what we're not experiencing. But it's not just for you young people. It just takes a little bit longer for us being older.
What do you think your biggest struggle in this business has been?
Oh gosh, I hate to say this, but keeping my team going. That's it. I had one leg who just went crazy. And then it was a bunch of fitness mamas. They all, worked out together. They were all doing stuff. Well, there were some affairs that happened, and people got hurt feelings, and they just dispersed. And, so that kind of came in. And then, like, my own daughter who brought me in, like, she still promotes, she still thrives, but she doesn't like hardcore promote like I do when I say hardcore. She's just kind of, got a lot of things going. So she doesn't do like what she used to do. And so that's been kind of a thing for me, but it also put me in the corner where I had to fight my way out. So I think that, because I've always been, one of my favorite verses has always been to be thankful about adversity, because through adversity, you gain strength. And so I've gotten to be a stronger leader, because there's a big difference between a leader and a motivator. So I've had to really become a better leader instead of just a motivator.
And what has been the best part of your business?
The stories. Hands down, the stories. Other than I was able to walk away from teaching and coaching. I get to be a pumpkin. That's what my grandkids call me, is pumpkin. And so whenever they need something at school, they're sick at home, then they can call Pumpkin, and I'm on my way. I left my town on Thursday, and I got back to here on Sunday, came home Sunday after church. But had I still been teaching and coaching, that would not have been the case. So my granddaughter was sick and I got to be with her.
How did you make that decision to walk away from your job?
Okay, so I'm a big believer in, my faith is very strong. So I was sitting in our invocation at the beginning of the school year, and I was like, okay, I sent a message out and I said to our little group, and I said, y'all, I just got word this is my last year. I mean, God was just ready for it. He needed me in Weatherford for one thing. I fulfilled that. And I'm a big believer because, towards, when you start getting all these, oh, well, Cynthia, oh, this, so then they are like lifting me up at work. And I was like, okay, well, maybe. But then, that hot water started boiling. And I'm just not the town I'm in, the town I'm teaching and coaching that I was in. There are big coddlers, and I'm not that way. And so it just the environment got a little bit more difficult to where I knew, okay, I'm not changing my mind. I'm for sure going. And I know that was, it's just through God, because like I said, I believe it, when you're or not where you need to be, you have to have that relationship to where you are hearing his voice. So, when he is trying to send you a message. If you're not where you're supposed to be and things aren't going like you need them to be, sometimes you may need to change things, but sometimes you need to change where you are. And again, I worked to that point where I put myself in that position to get there. I allowed God to do his work through me because I had taken the steps to get there. And when you're not taking those steps and putting yourself in that position, then you have to stay where you are because you don't have any other choice. I mean, you still got to pay the bills. But again, it was just listening to what God had for me to say.
Do you find you have more success with drivers online or in person?
We're older. We are, as older people, I think for us, person to person works best, voice to voice. It just, as older people, we don't understand the lingo. So you just kind of have to talk plain to us.
So what's your approach with someone person to person?
Okay, the first thing I do is one of my really good friends, she said, you can always look into somebody's eyes and tell whether or not, they're happy. And so when you start getting to know them, asking, I will talk to people like strangers in line that I have no idea about, and we'll just start talking and just finding out what their story is, who they are. And then, always I always have my church people think it's a Band-Aid. They'll say, oh, are you hurt? But again, people always see it. And so that's always a good thing. But there's you know what? Since I have been taking these vitamins, things are amazing. I'm able to be me. And when people see you, even if I have a cap on, no makeup, I'm still smiling. And so happy people like to migrate to happy people. And if they're not migrating to you, there's probably something going on there. And you have to understand that it's not always about you. Hurt people hurt people. So sometimes you have to pull back those layers and get to know that person. And then once you pull back those layers and they understand your heart and that you're not trying to sell them something, that you're genuinely just telling your story and you're honestly just trying to help them. But people can get into that. They think it's a business and they won't listen. And if they won't listen, there's nothing you can do about that. No amount of words it's going to help that. You just have to learn, what? I'm going to write your name down. I'm not going to forget you, but it's just not now.
And you're an 80K, correct?
I am.
Can you tell us about your journey to 80K?
Okay, gosh. Okay, so again, that's that up and down business. So, the first month was, I think we were at 5,000, no anythings. And then the first month, and then the second month, 12K. And it took us a while to get to 40K. And I'm telling you, like, we stayed at 40K, we'd get to 56,000, 60,000, and then back down to, 40. And then we had a girl came in, we jumped up to 80, jumped up to 120. And then the riff happened. And then we went back down to right around 80, and then 40. And then, like we have dropped below 40. Right now we're fighting our way back to 40. So it's been an up and down, but it's never been, I can't do this. And if there's times where I am mentally struggling, Chelsea, I call Chelsea and we pray and we talk it out. And I shudder to say this, but almost every time that I've ever like, okay, God, are you ready for me to do something else? I've gotten a new customer. It's crazy. But again, it's just my faith is that strong. And I believe in just listening for God's voice and listening to where he wants me to be. And again, the money is great, but the money is not everything. I love challenges. I love bonuses. If a bonus happens, they present one. Oh, I'm going to get it. I'm going to get it. I've hit every reset. I never, like I said, I never hit the 800 or 1600, but every reset they've ever done after that, I've hit it. I was like, that ain't happening again.
So, I'm glad that you spoke on how businesses go up and down, because a lot of people, at the end of the day, this is sales, and nobody's business is just going to skyrocket one way. There's going to be ups and downs. How do you mentally, deal with that? Because it can be mentally draining to 1 month you're at 120, the next you're at 60. How do you mentally handle that, and what fire keeps you going? Because it takes a lot to get up every day and keep going, even when pardon the language, all hell's breaking loose, in your business, and you're just like, what is going on? So how did you mentally get through that, and what keeps you going?
Well, I try to save screenshots of the replies I get back when I ask somebody how their Thrive experience is going. And those that are just, absolutely amazing, I go back and I read those, because it reminds me that there's still people out there who need Thrive. Yeah, I'm having a hard time, but what about that one person who, that military who, the paratrooper who was, who said, whose doctors told him he would never walk, and now he's up and he's living a happy life. The guy who, I have a guy who in 9 years has been a recluse, and he's out with his family now. I call him my brother, and I would never have gotten to visit with him if it had it not been through Thrive. I have that lady, that mama who had gone through surgeries at 34 years old. She'd had like 20 something surgeries. I met her one day at the side of the road and gave her an ultra and some samples. She put the ultra on that day, and she messaged me that night, and she said, I was able to walk through Target. My kids kept waiting for me to fall down, and I never did. I got to go and play basketball with my kids. You can't stop, because you have those people out there who are dependent on you to, finally get to them via somebody else. It may not be through the person that you are reaching out to. It may be somebody they know that person that you bring in may not be that person who needs it, but they may have a friend who does. And you cannot stop. That's what it's all about. You have to keep remembering, you know, a long time ago, they said it's when it leaves your head and goes to your heart. That's when you'll completely understand what this is all about. When they say premium life, it's not that premium has nothing to do with anything monetary. It's about quality and quality of life. My mother left this world at the same age I am, 56, and she was diabetic. Diabetes took her quality of life. Had Thrive been around when she was around, if I had to sell my kidney, she would have thrived, because her quality, I just firmly believe her quality of life would have been better.
Does anybody have any questions for Cynthia? And Cynthia, do you have any tips or anything you wanted to add for tonight? I know you have notes.
Let's see. Yeah, let me see. Let me make sure I got everything. I think I covered everything. Oh, sorry. Okay, pay attention to your website traffic, because your website traffic will give you an idea of when you're hitting a nerve, because that'll go up. And when you're posting stuff that have nothing to do with anything, you'll see no movement. But go and live in your back office and watch that website traffic. That's huge. Thank y'all so much for having me. I mean, I'm sorry, I got all teary-eyed and
that is okay
the whole time.
Listen, that is okay. So I do have one question. Have you had a time in this business where you stopped and you said, I cannot believe this is my life?
Oh man, gosh, I don't know when there's not been a time. I'll tell you the time that really sticks out. So I'm a penny pincher, okay? Always have been, I always will. When my kids were younger, my sister loved like the whole Guess jeans and all that kind of stuff. Well, my kids say, Mom, can we have Guess jeans? Like, yeah, we can go right at Walmart and you can guess which brand they are. Okay, so that was, I'm not a name brander. But there's one time we were at, at the Gaylord, they have, the ice thing, and we were there. We were all sitting down to breakfast. Well, I'm one who like I have to send that little text to your bank to see, how much money you have. Well, I didn't have to do it. And in fact, not only did I not have to text to see what was in my bank account, I was like, I got it. And they're like, you got what? And I was like, I've got the table. I've got it. I'm paying the check. They're like, for everybody? I was like, yeah, I got it. I mean, that right there, y'all, that right there, that was huge. I mean, like, see that smile? I know it's dark, but yeah, that smile is there. Big time.
I love that. And this business just truly it's an amazing opportunity. It really is life-changing. And you truly are compensated for the work that you do in this business, not even financially, just the impact that you can make in other people's lives. So I appreciate you so much for coming on and sharing with us. Love your story. So glad we got to connect at Thrive Palooza. And I'm sure I'll see you again soon at some Lavelle event.
Absolutely.
All right, guys. Thanks everyone for hopping on tonight, and have a good night.